Welcome to my video on installing Windows Subsystem for Linux 2. I'm going to do this completely from the PowerShell. My name is John Jolly, and I think we need to get started. So let's go. So I have a nice fresh Windows install here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to start up PowerShell in admin mode. Now you could do that by right-clicking the Start menu and choosing Windows PowerShell from admin here, and that would do the trick. But again, I'm trying to do everything from the keyboard. So if I do Windows key R to pull up the Run menu, type in PowerShell, and then do Control-Shift-Enter, and then tell it, yes, I want to accept the heightened privileges, I now have an administrator's PowerShell, and I'm ready to type in the commands necessary to make this work. So there's several steps to this. All of these steps that I'm following can be found on the Microsoft Windows Subsystem for Linux page. Again, I'm doing this from the keyboard. They show how to do it other ways. But we're going to start by installing two optional features into Windows. The first optional feature that we're going to install is called Virtual Machine Platform. And we can do that by typing in this command, enable Windows optional feature, and we're going to do it on the online mode. The online switch specifies that this is going to be done to this local machine, specifying the feature name, and then I'm specifying I want all of that feature enabled with no restart. This is actually going to perform some operations on the operating system, download files, so you will want to be online for this. Once it's finished, you can see that it's indicating a restart is needed, but we have other things we want to do. We also need to activate the second feature here, which is the actual Windows Subsystem for Linux. And we can do that with this command, enable Windows optional feature. Again, we're using the online switch. We're using the feature name, Microsoft Windows Subsystem for Linux, all with no restart. Now, this is the second feature that we're installing. We will restart after this. You could eliminate this no restart option, but I do want to show you a second command. So let's go ahead and have that installed. Again, restart is needed, so let's go ahead and restart computer. And once we restart the computer, we will go ahead and perform the other operations. We only need one restart to make this work. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this. Now again, I'm doing this from the command line, so let's go ahead and open up PowerShell. There's my PowerShell. I'm going to Control-Shift-Enter. Yes. And there's my administrator PowerShell. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do here is I want to actually download a update specifically for Windows Subsystem for Linux. There is a set of updates that will allow for Windows Subset for Linux 2. So I'm going to go ahead and change to my download directory. So user John download. And I'm going to type this command. What I'm doing is I'm using curl. Curl.exe is important here. I'm telling it that I want to download into this temporary directory, the Wsl update x64.msi, from this location. It'll go ahead and download it. And then what I want to do is I want to actually execute that particular MSI. I want to perform the install, and I perform that install by typing in the MSI exec command as such. So MSI exec/I to install. I'm going to tell it to install my MSI. I want it to be quiet about this, not a lot of GUI. Do not restart. I want it to go ahead and perform the install and give me a log of everything to this log file. And the log file may be important. We're not going to review it, but we always log everything we do. And there we go. The MSI is installed. Once I have this MSI installed, that allows for Windows Subsystem 2, I need to actually activate or set WSL to default to version 2. And it goes ahead and says that that was successful. Remember, it's WSL -- set default version 2. So now we want to install Ubuntu or whatever distribution you want. Now, there's lots of different distributions out there. You can install Kali Linux. You can install OpenSUSE. I choose Ubuntu because it's fairly common. I'm going to, again, use curl to do this. So the curl, I'm going ahead and downloading the WSL Ubuntu 2004 or 20.0.4. And I am going ahead and downloading it to this ubuntu.appx. So we go ahead and press enter. Let it download this. It's going to take a little bit. It's a fairly large file. And now that we've completed the download, we can go ahead and install this by using the add appx package command and specifying our appx that we want to install. It's going to go ahead and process it. Shouldn't take terribly long because you have already downloaded it. And with that, we have Ubuntu installed. So what do? Well, it's fairly simple. All we have to do at this time is run Ubuntu 2004. Now, you will also find that it's installed in the Start menu, and you can start it from here if you'd like. Again, I'm doing everything from the command line, and so I can just simply run Ubuntu 2004, and it does its initial installation of Ubuntu. This is an initial configuration that it's attempting. The first thing it's going to have you do is it's going to have you enter in a username. This is not your Windows username. This is a username on the Linux subsystem. I'll pick my favorite username. It is then going to ask you for a password. Pick yourself something semi-secure, and there you are. You should be up and running in Ubuntu Linux at this point. You have your own home directory, nothing in it quite yet. You can go ahead and run commands here. It runs systemd. You can run system control if you want. You can take a look at different information about the system, such as the release version. In any case, at this point, you have Ubuntu installed. If you want to, you can now run it from the command line like this, and it will just simply start up. You may also pin it to the taskbar so that you can open it up quickly. You may be required to do things that require sudo, such as app update. You'll need that password that you typed in to be able to accomplish those tasks. And this is a very simple step-by-step how to get Windows Subsystem 2 for Linux installed.